Hi, everyone. Can you hear me all right? A thumbs up so I make sure that my audio is okay. Thank you. Awesome. Thanks. All right. Now, part two. Let's see if the camera works. Is this a camera on or camera off session? Does anyone know? Where are you guys?
Anyone that suits you, it's fine.
Awesome. Hold on. I do think my camera should be working fine. Hey, can you guys see me?
Yes.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Awesome, cool. So I'll probably start with my camera so that people know I'm an actual human being, not an AI. And then maybe when I get into the presentation, I'll just switch to the presentation so that you can focus on my slides.
Right, no problem.
Awesome. Pretty excited to see. I see two faces, MZ and Jetser. I hope I'm saying your names correctly. Hi.
You're
Hey.
saying it perfect. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Cool.
All right. So we are just giving probably the next 4 minutes we are going to begin. That should be the timing. And of course, we're going to have some introduction. We will introduce the conference itself, and then we can now kick off speakers.
Awesome. Great. Hi, Samson. Hi, Ed. Ooh, Equebe. Okay. Yay.
Can you get me now, please?
Yes, I can hear you.
Now we hear you. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Sorry about that. So once again, you're all welcome to the second edition of our virtual African Digital Conference. So we've had previous sessions which have been physical. This is the second edition of the virtual African Digital Conference, which is the Africa Digital Rising 2026. So kindly type in the chat your name and where you are connecting from. Let's just have a quick introduction before we kick off. Let's take 1 minute to do that. Just type in your name and where you're connecting from. As fast as possible, I'm just going to be going through the chat and picking out one or two. So we have Madam Nono from Austin, Texas. We have Kennedy from Zambia, Shane connecting from Zimbabwe, Hillary from Ghana. We have Walter from Kenya, Isaac from Kenya, Austin from Nairobi. We have Vivian from Ghana, and so on and so forth. The names are moving so fast. Oh, that's fantastic. So you all are welcome to the African Digital Conference. The Digital Conference is a premier platform that brings together digital innovators, market, and tech leaders across African businesses and professionals by sharing the latest trends, strategies and professional strategies and technologies. Some interruptions here. I'm just going to mute this. So our goal is to empower African businesses and professionals by sharing the latest trends, strategies, and technologies in digital marketing, e-commerce, artificial intelligence, automation, content creation, blockchain, and more. Virtual and on-site events across key African markets to foster collaboration and growth. Our vision is to bridge Africa by providing a world-class learning and networking experience through impactful events. And our vision is to become Africa's largest and most influential digital transformation conference, empowering business with cutting-edge digital insights. So as far as the conference is concerned, it's going to run for 3 days, and we're going to have 6 topics which we are going to deliberate on. And we're going to have key sessions. First is digital transformation and policy in Africa, where we'll be understanding how policies, regulations, and digital strategies can unlock economic growth. We have innovation and startups, building scalable African tech solutions from ideas to execution. So we'll look to build tech products that solve real problems. Then we have digital marketing for economic empowerment, that is business growth. And we'll learn how businesses and individuals can use digital visibility and sustainable growth. Then we have the role of fintech in inclusive growth, where we'll look at payments, financial access, and the rise of digital finance across Africa. Then we have education and digital literacy for the next generation, the skills African youths need to compete and thrive in a digital world. And finally, we will look at women and youth in tech, bridging the digital divide, highlighting opportunities, challenges, and the path to equal participation in tech. What's our main focus? Our focus here is to bring together entrepreneurs, digital leaders, policy thinkers, creatives, technological or technology professionals. And how will this benefit you, this conference? You're going to have the opportunity to network with professionals. We are going to look at some leadership tips. You're going to have business opportunities because we have lots of business owners, entrepreneurs, CEOs who are part of these events. Of course, you're going to get a lot of inspiration and motivation. And by the end of 2025, we intend to target 25,000 participants across selected African countries. We're going to make sure we have up to 250 plus speakers, partners, and sponsors across these countries. And of course, for every country, we should be able to, help startups be able to see how they can, drive their businesses in the digital space. So to kick off with conference by looking at the first topic, which is digital transformation and policy in Africa. And this will be handled by no other person than Madame Nono Bokete from the United States, who is the CEO of Senatels. A brief bio about, make sure you pay attention and jot what you can. And of course, if she meets up with, your goals, your dreams, or what you intend to achieve, then make sure you connect with her before the end of these events. So Madame Nono Bokete is the CEO of Data's Senitel and a recognized voice in digital transformation, leadership, and policy alignment. She works at the intersection of technology, institutions, and human behavior, helping organizations and governments navigate the complex realities of digital change beyond tools and platforms. With over 15 years of cross-industry experience across Africa and global markets, Nono has supported regional digital transformation efforts, including contributing to digital transformation strategies development for SADC. Her work spans advising government on public systems, supporting organizations in digitizing operations, and working directly with entrepreneurs, women, and young professionals who must operate within these systems every day. Nono's approach is grounded in a consistent insight. The success of digital transformation is rarely limited by technology itself, but by the gap between how systems are designed and how people live, work, and adapt. Her work focuses on helping leaders close this gap by aligning people, policy, and technology in ways that build trust, inclusion, and long-term economic participation. Today, she will be speaking on digital transformation and policy, sharing insights on how leaders and institutions can shape digital future proactively, not by reacting to technology, but by that reflect lived reality. Enable coordination across borders and support sustainable, inclusive transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause for Bokete as she takes the stage. Over to you, madam.
Hi, thank you for that introduction. It was absolutely lovely. I'm excited to be here. I saw that we're literally all over the continent, Ethiopia, Zambia, Nigeria, South Africa, and everything in between, even Botswana, which is a big deal because that's where my people are from. And there are only 2 million people in Botswana. So in terms of population, we're very far and few between. Hopefully you can see and hear me. But before I begin, I just want to let you know that I really care about this topic. It's a really big challenge in the African continent, and we have a great group of panelists that will be able to answer questions as I'm going through my presentation, because I might not have time to get all your questions. So you can write those questions in the chat, and people like MZ and company can definitely answer some of those questions if I can't get to them. And then obviously after my talk, there'll be a panel discussion. So please do stay in here. But I really want to talk about, how systems are designed and how people actually live and work and adapt. And through that, we'll talk about policy, digital transformation, and how that interweaves. So let me share my screen so that we're all on the same page. Can I get a thumbs up if you can see my screen? Awesome. Great. So what I'm going to be talking about around digital transformation and technology is that you can either create a gap or you can close a gap. And in doing that, you're going to need policy. And that's why this conversation really matters a lot. Across the continent, not one system, as many of you know, we have many overlapping policies and environments. So with that, what we need to
if it's my can someone confirm it is my internet or that of the speaker? Right. It seems as if the speaker is having some issues with her internet connection. So let's just give her some minutes to see if she can come. Let's search for her again. All right, so it seems our speaker is having some trouble connecting. I don't know if the second speaker is ready. That should be Miss Bimmel. I don't know if you're ready, so we can proceed with you coming later. Just kindly indicate if you are ready.
Yes, I am ready.
So, while waiting for Madam Nono to maybe try to fix her internet connection, I'm just going to go straight to the next keynote speaker. Share my screen again, just 1 minute.
It's not good.
All right, so we are going to move to the next speaker. Just that we had to deliberate on the first topic before we move to the next. Let me see if I can still get hold of her. Let's see. All right, so we'll move to the next topic before we get back to digital transformation, because we want the keys no speakers need to share before we move to the panel discussion. Just going to see the keynote speaker again. All right, so the next speaker by name, Ms. Bime Lira, will be talking on digital market business growth. So Bime Lira is a CPD and Google certified digital marketing expert with hands-on experience helping brands and businesses grow through strategic result digital marketing. She has worked across multiple industries, delivering tailored solutions that enhance online visibility, audience engagement, and a sustainable business performance. In addition to digital marketing, Bime is an experienced sales force administrator supporting organizations in optimizing CRM systems and improving operational efficiency. This combined expertise enabling her to connect with marketing strategy with technology and business processes. She currently serves as the branch coordinator for Tagitago Corporation, where she contributes to leadership, coordination, and capacity development. Bimi is passionate about empowering businesses and professionals with practical digital strategies suited for Africa evolving digital economy. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Ms. Bime Lira to the stage.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Tamon. Hello, everyone. Please, if you can get me, just type on the chat box so you can get me 5 on 5. Okay, perfect. Okay, so thank you very much, Mr. Tamon, for the introduction. So as you all know, my name is Bime Lira Nansenyoy, and I am so excited to be with you today for the second edition of the African Digital Conference 2026. I'm very excited to be with you, to share knowledge. We're all here just to share our experiences, to share different knowledges, with respect to the digital age, how it is affecting each and every one of us in our different field of work. Just a little short story. Before I got into digital marketing, I was a software engineering student. And while doing software engineering, we had a course, which is the graphic design course. And so while doing the graphic design course, I took it as a side hustle, to help me meet my personal needs. And then I paired it alongside with videography. And I actually had an experience with one of my customers, one of my clients, and it was thanks to that experience that pushed me into digital marketing. So what actually happened was that they called me to do a video art for them. It was a construction company. And so I was to create a video art talking about their company for them, which I did. And of course, they paid me what I had charged them. But one thing I did realize and I noticed was that technically I was the one gaining. They weren't really gaining much because the highest they were going to do with the videos was just to post it on WhatsApp status, and probably share it to their different colleagues. And you and I, we know that WhatsApp status, most of us, we don't yet know how to use WhatsApp business, to bring in leads for our businesses. Most of the times our WhatsApp contacts, they are our families, they are our friends, and we all know that the best business clients, the clients that we have, they are the best clients that we can have are strangers. So I realized that that video was practically going to be useless to them if they didn't know how to market that video, if they didn't know how to advertise it so that other people can see their services and contact them. And that was when I started researching what is the solution to this. And I got into digital marketing. And when I was trained and graduated from there, I went back to them and then I was like, hey, you guys know what? Let's get back into business. Let's upgrade because previously it wasn't the best. So that's just to tell you the power of digital marketing. Just permit me, let me share my screen. Okay, please, if you can see my screen, just confirm that you can see my screen so I know that I'm with you. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so digital marketing is it's not just about being online. As true, many of us we just when we hear of digital marketing, we think it's all about being online, but it's beyond that. And that's why we are going to see that there are many people, many entrepreneurs who are having Facebook pages, Instagram pages, they're actually online, but they are not making sales, they are not achieving their goals, they are not achieving their objectives. And then you begin to ask yourself, why is it so? It's because digital marketing, it's above just knowing that it is online. There is a process that you need to follow. There's a strategy that you need to follow if you want to be able to succeed if you want to be able to succeed online with respect to digital marketing. So for today, we're just going to be talking about digital marketing and the various aspects that you can actually use, the various tools that you can use, or the various funnels or path that you need to know, you need to be able to know, to master, to be able to have a successful marketing online. Okay, so we're going to be talking about digital marketing strategies that drive real business growth, branding and visibility, leveraging data automation, practical frameworks, startups, social, small, medium enterprises, and large enterprises. So I believe we already know who I am. So my name is Bimili Ranal Senior, a CPT and Google certified digital marketing expert, and also a Salesforce admin and platform builder. Currently the branch coordinator for the Tadita Group Corporation in Cameroon, where, of course, our aim, we focus on helping individuals and organizations thrive in today's digital economy. So digital marketing, like I earlier said, it's beyond posting, it's beyond followers. Digital marketing as a whole is about growth, okay? It's about having the right audience, having the right message, having the right platforms, the measurable results. It's about having everything right so as to market successfully. And when we talk about this, the first question that comes to our mind is, how can we actually turn visibility into sales, into growth, and into real impact? That is a question that comes into our mind when we are talking about digital marketing. And then we realize that the strategy is, there are three key strategies, okay? And the first one is awareness, consideration, conversion, and loyalty. Marketing on its own is a journey, okay? People get to discover you. And when they discover you, they get to know you. When they get to know you, they get to buy from you. When they buy from you, they stay with you. When they stay with you, they recommend you to others. Now, when they recommend you to others, the people that have been recommended to, they turn to discover you. And then you realize that it is a cycle, it is a journey, but in a circular form. Okay. And so that is where your goal comes in. How do people discover you to stay in with you? And why not recommending you, marketing your product and services to other people? That is what marketing is all about. And you realize that businesses that actually follow every of these steps, they grow more as compared to businesses that just focus on selling. Okay. And that's why you realize that when you talk about marketing, a lot of people, they are online, but still they don't actually, they're not able to attain their objectives and goals because they don't understand this path. They don't understand this funnel, that you actually need to follow this funnel in order to be able to be successful with your marketing. Now, the other thing, like I said, we are in Africa, and a lot of us, especially the youth, which is a very good thing, that many of the youths, they're no more depending on the government. Everyone is trying to become an entrepreneur. Everyone is trying to learn a skill, and to market themselves. So you realize that the competition is very, very high. And the competition is high. So the next question that will come into your mind that you ask yourself is, how do you stand out? How do you make people to discover you? How do you make people to discover you, to the process of staying with you? Okay. And the simple answer to that question is branding. Branding, your brand is your identity, okay? Your brand is your identity. It is that feeling that people get when they think about your business, when they talk about your business. Let's give it an example. In Africa, when we talk of MTN, the first thing that comes into our mind is reliability and connection, okay? When we talk of Jumia, the first thing that comes in our minds, that comes in people's mind, is online shopping at a large scale. Okay, take for example, with Tadita Group Corporation, before we wanted to set up our office in Cameroon, a physical office in Cameroon, what we did was that we started online, okay, because we understood the power of branding. We understood we didn't want a scenario wherein we are going to start up our office in Douala, Cameroon, and people are not already aware of it. So we wanted to make a name online because we understand the power of the online space. And so we decided by branding ourselves online, making people to know about Tadita Group Corporation and its different branches, most especially the Tadita Group Institute, the Tadita Group Digital Agency. And by the time our brand was strong enough online, we said, okay, people across Africa, in Cameroon, they already know us. So this is now the time for us to set up our office. And by the time we set up our office, it was now easy, for us to get clients because people were already aware about us. They already knew us. They already knew, when someone mentions about Tadita Group Institute, they already knew the value, the power that we give. So that is what branding should bring when it comes to your business, okay? Branding tells people who you are. They tell people why you should trust them. They tell people why they should choose you over others. And if these three are not actually clear, then you realize that you're already losing out in the competition. You're already losing out in the business even before conversation actually starts. So that is a very important thing when it comes to branding. Now, how do people actually come to know about you? How do people come to know about you? Remember, if people do not see you, they will not choose you, okay? And that's when visibility comes in. And it's not just about visibility anyhow, but it's about strategic visibility, okay? That when we talk about strategic visibility, we're trying to see where your customers are. That is, where you are going to, you need to ensure that that is where your customers are going to. When Tadita Group Corporation wanted to set up in Cameroon, we first of all we studied the different regions, we tried to see where our customers were. And then when we saw where our customers were, we're like, okay, most of our customers there in Douala, Yaoundé. So we said, fine, let's set up our offices there. And that is how we meet. So you need to be strategic with your visibility because visibility brings awareness. And it is that awareness that brings opportunity into your business. And that is what you're looking for. So it is of key importance that you master branding and visibility when it comes to digital marketing. And then the most important thing, which unfortunately most little businesses, startups, they actually ignore, is data and automation, whereas that is where real growth happens. Businesses grow when decisions are made based on data and not on guesswork. That is, when we talk of data, what is data? Data gives you the insight about your product and how it is actually connecting, how it's actually interacting with the audience, how it's actually interacting with people, okay? Your data tells you what to stop doing. They tell you who is engaging with you.
Lira, can I interrupt you a bit? Your slides are
Yes.
not moving, so I don't know. Your slides are not moving.
Okay, sorry about that. So please, which slide are you seeing?
The first slide only.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay, let me just see. Okay, please, can you see the slide? I am on data and automations equals to skill. Can you
Yeah,
see
it's
it?
fine now. Yeah, it's fine now.
Okay, so sorry about that. I had no idea. Okay, but it's fine. After this, we'll probably share the slides if anyone is interested in getting the slides. So as I was saying, data is one of the most important parts when it comes to businesses, okay? Data tells you who you're engaging with, what is working and what is not working, what content is producing results and what content is not producing results. It tells you where you should double your efforts on. It tells you what actually works. And you realize that once you've gotten all this information, it's easier for you to automate. It's easier for you to move into automation. And when we talk of automation, we're simply trying to say automation it simply means you removing repetitive stress, improving consistency, freeing humans for strategic work. So automation is something that many businesses, they really have to put into place, so as to help them to be able to reduce their work, and focus on the strategies, focus on the right things that are actually yielding input in their services or in their business as a whole. And when we talk of automations, there are many automation tools that we have, okay? Like, for instance, we have CRM systems, for example, Salesforce, yes, which is a very good CRM system that you can use in your business to track your customer journey with you. We also have chatbots, AI chatbots. We have email marketing, email automations that you can actually use. So these are tools that you need to be able to master. You need to be able to know the types of analytic tools that you can use, to be able to grab data, to be able to track your data and know the right thing to do. And now I'm just going to give you a little advice, on how you can actually work online with different types of businesses, like the business sizes. So we have startups and small businesses. When you come online, the first thing you should focus on is clear positioning, positioning your values, making people to understand who you are, to understand what is it that you offer, and then also work on growing an audience, and most importantly, growing an audience through organic marketing and also building trust. That's a very key thing, when it comes to startups. The key is maintaining growing connections and building trust, because it is from there that people are going to come to you. They're going to buy your products and services when they trust your products and services. And then for small, medium enterprises, businesses that have already stayed for like 6 months online, the next thing you have to do, is to work on your brand authority, increasing your brand's presence, and then you can add in paid advertisement alongside organic ads, paying the different social media platforms to help you market your products and services. And also you incorporate the use of CRM systems. Mr. Tamo, please just confirm if you're seeing the fit slides. Practical focus by business sizes. Can you see the slide?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
please.
Okay, that's fine. So when you're already advanced into the online space, it's time for you to start thinking about incorporating CRM systems, and tracking down data. The main goal is for you to have to build consistency so as to retain customers. And of course, after that, you're growing, of course. So by the time you've reached with large organization, you're in a large organization, people are following you, you have a large followers. It's still with consistency. You're not trying to see how you can maintain that followers, you can maintain that growth, and that is where you need to track in your data. You need to focus everything that you're doing with your business. It needs to be data-driven decision making. You need to be able to track your data because it's from your data. Your data will tell you what is working and what is not working. And from there, you'll be able to correct the mistakes here and there to keep the momentum. So that is it. And what I would actually say is that digital marketing is not just a tool, okay? It is part of business transformation. It is part of business transformation. Digital marketing allows a tailor in Kumasi to sell beyond the city. It allows a farmers cooperative union in Nairobi, Kenya to reach supermarkets. It allows foundations in Cameroon to be able to attract donors. It allows a startup restaurant in Lagos to be able to reach global accessibility. That's to tell you the power of digital marketing. Hence, digital marketing should not live in an isolation. It must be connected to your operations, to leadership, to finance, to strategies, to people and culture. Digital marketing is not only for business owners, it is for each and every one of us. It is for microfinances, it is for institutions, it is for hospitals, it is for everyone, because it is that global village that brings all of us together and connects us and make us be able to easily interact with each other and exchange our different products and services while being far away from each other. And so it is of key importance that we should start using digital marketing if we are not yet using it. African businesses do not need to copy the world to succeed online. We only need to show up authentically and with value, because the future of African growth will be powered by African creativity, African stories, African innovations that are shared through these digital platforms. And so I am going to end by saying that brands that embrace digital marketing today are the ones that will lead Africa's economy tomorrow. So digital marketing is not just a trend. It is an infrastructure of modern business growth. And so it is of key importance that each and every one of us, we should leverage it, we should start using it, we should be intentional about it, we should be strategic about it, we should be data-driven about it, we should be able to build brands that last, and we can actually build brands that last using this digital marketing space, using the online space, using social media, using Facebook. So that was the little that I had to share with you all. Of course, the different speakers are going to come and give you more insights about digital marketing and how you can actually use it, to grow your business. So thank you very much for having me. It was such an honor to be here to speak with you all, and I am open to questions from everyone. Yes, thank you, and over to you, Mr. Tamon.
Right, thank you very much for that on digital businesses. I believe that we're going to have a couple of questions from the participants. So, but before we have those questions, we are going to move back to Madame Nono Bokete. I think when she started presenting, her internet connection had an issue. So, Madame Nono, over to you, please.
Sorry about that. Look at me having internet problems. Can you see my screen by any chance?
Yes, please.
Alrighty, cool. Would you like me to just start from the beginning, or should I start further into the presentation?
You can start from the beginning. That would be better.
All right, apologies, guys.
Or
Well, here's
probably,
take two. We'll go through it
probably from
quick.
where you ended. No problem. You can continue from where you ended. It's fine.
Okay, awesome. I'm not 100% sure where, can you guys see me at all? I can't even see my shared screen, so I'm just concerned.
Your screen. Yeah, we can see your screen.
Can you see me?
No, your camera is closed.
Okay, for whatever reason, it's refusing to turn my camera on. So apologies for that, guys. I'm not sure why, but let me just get cracking. Okay, so before I begin, let me briefly explain why I care so deeply about this topic. It's because it's the biggest challenge in almost never the technology. It's a gap between how systems are designed and how people actually live, work, and adapt. That gap is created or closed by policy, which is why this conversation matters so much. So I think this is a slide that everyone was like, and then she disappeared. And it's probably because I was talking some wild stuff about Africa. But digital outcomes here are shaped by national governments, regional economic communities, SADC, etc., continental frameworks like the AU that are often shared ambitions, but not always timelines, incentives, or enforcement mechanisms. So, if technology alone transformed economies, the story would be simple. We would point to mobile penetration, to fintech adoption, to innovation hubs, and move on. Over the last decade, sub-Saharan Africa has experienced one of the fastest rates of digital growth globally. So we actually have the numbers to flex, right? Internet usage increased by over 115% between 2016 and 2021. More than 160 million people gained broadband access between 2019 and 2022, and nearly 200 million people began sending and receiving digital payments in less than a decade. This is real progress. It reflects years of work by governments, regulators, developmental institutions, private sector actors, and civil society. But, and there's always a but when you have a nice story, digital growth doesn't automatically equal digital transformation, because transformation is not measured by access alone. It's measured by agency, trust, and economic participation. And this is where the story becomes more complex. Despite all this progress, we still see a persistent gap, a gap between coverage and usage. In sub-Sahara alone, over 80% of people live within 3G coverage. More than 60% have access to 4G, yet barely 1 in 5 actively uses mobile internet services. This gap is not explained by technology. It's explained by things like device access, affordability, digital skills, trust in the system, and regulatory design. And I'm actually going to spend a little bit time around the affordability piece because I have a bone to pick, okay? In many African markets, 1 gigabyte of mobile data can cost between 5 and 10% of average monthly income. In some countries like Botswana, yeah, I said it, it's higher. For a small business owner, someone selling goods, managing supplies, reaching customers, that's not minor expenses. That's a tax on participation. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. And when connectivity is expensive, Small businesses make rational choices. They stay offline. They limit their digital footprint. They operate in ways that keeps them invisible to the formal economy. This is where policy has real leverage. Spectrum allocation, maybe? Infrastructure share requirements? I don't know. Universal Service Fund development and deployment? Possibly. Tax treatment of device and data? Competition frameworks that prevent monopoly pricing? I have friends in Nigeria who are crying because they say the provider is just eating their money and there's no data to show. Give me a thumbs up if that's true for you. I'm kidding. We might be recording this, so you don't want to get in trouble. But the choice is simple. Do we design markets where connectivity is a privilege or where it's a utility that small businesses can afford and build on? And more importantly, when policy doesn't make that choice or makes it too slowly, people don't wait. Africans are the king and queens of adapting. Okay, we go formal, we'll create another barter system, whatever. We work around the system. And when that happens, governments lose visibility and trust erodes on both sides. This is all happening at the same time as unprecedented global investment in Africa's digital future.
And 1 minute, I don't know if you're still sharing.
I am.
It's not. Kindly check for us, please.
Can you see my screen?
Okay. Yeah, now it's okay.
Okay. So this all happens at the same time as unprecedented global investment in Africa's digital future. At the continental level, so I'm talking about the African Union laid out a clear ambition through digital transformation strategy for Africa. The period is 2020 to 2030. Listen, it's a snooze to read. Dump it into a large language model, let it summarize it for you. But essentially, it's positioning digitalization as central to the agenda for 2063, economic inclusion and long-term competitiveness. The World Bank also followed with a digital economy for Africa moonshot. They've committed billions with a B toward digital infrastructure, digital public platforms, and skills development. The European Union, or EU, launched a global gateway investing heavily in connectivity and digital public goods. This matters, guys, because it tells us something important. It tells us that the world no longer sees Africa as a digital backwater, but as a future digital growth engine. But there is something I want to talk about. Investment alone does not create cohesion. And this is where we need to pay attention because something new is happening alongside global capital and multilateral programs. We are now seeing African-led infrastructure bets that fundamentally change the conversation. Let's talk about Strive. Through Cassava Technologies, Masiwa has assembled multiple layers of the digital stack, fiber data centers, cloud services into one of the most extensive digital backbones in the continent. Through liquid intelligent technologies, more than 100,000 kilometers of fiber now run across over a dozen African countries, carrying internet traffic between cities, countries, business, hospitals, you name it. And through Africa data centers, critical information for banks, public institutions, and enterprises are now being stored and processed locally rather than automatically. And then let's talk about AI factories. They're planning on building multiple across the country. The idea behind this is not abstract because AI projects in Africa depend on cloud service located in Europe or North America. This is expensive. It's slower and raises serious concerns around data security and privacy as well as sovereignty. So if we build it locally, we're thinking cheaper, faster, governed closer, and where data is generated. Best part is that it shifts Africa from being primarily a consumer, and let's not play games, we are primarily a consumer. When we talk about AI, we usually talk about the West and the East. I haven't heard an Africa conversation about this in the big stages. So if this happens, we now become a producer and we host some of these digital products, and maybe we're also advancing our own digital capability. And this is important because for policy, infrastructure like this exposes some real fault lines, right? Without alignment, you're going to get infrastructure that scales faster than governments. Without alignment, you're going to get innovation that moves faster than regulation. Without alignment, you're going to get inclusion becomes an afterthought rather than a design principle. So the lesson here is not that Africa lacks ambition. Please, we have ambition for days. We have done so many great things in our continent, even before we had technology. We can't even say that we don't have capital. You can say maybe we don't know how to use money well, but who knows how to use money well? Even the US has trillions of dollars of debt. So listen, people need to work on financial literacy, but that's another conversation. We also have leadership. Yeah, maybe some is better than others, but there are leaders in there, right? We're not like Venezuela where your president just gets captured by the United States and gets sent like to jail, right? So the lesson is that the next phase of digital transformation is no longer about access alone. It's about coordination between national policies and regional integration, public investment and private infrastructure, global partnerships, and African agency. Because the future of digital economy will not be shaped by who invests most. It's going to be looking at who aligns systems, rules, incentives the best. This brings us to the role of policy. So a lot of us think of policy as just rules on paper. Fair. Most of the time it kind of is. And maybe that's what you're not really supposed to feel policy. If it's doing the right thing, you shouldn't feel it. It's a silent architect specifically for digital outcomes because it will shape incentives, risk, trust, and who gets to participate. And when policy moves too slowly, innovation doesn't pause, it just goes informal, and we don't want everything to be informal. Another thing I want to touch on is when we do copy paste, okay? You know, Control C, Control V, the shortcut. Several African countries adopt data protection frameworks closely modeled on European standards. The intention can be right, but for small businesses, startups, and informal enterprises, the cost and complexity of compliance becomes a barrier to entry rather than trust. So what that means in simple terms is large, big firms that you all know the names because they're multinationals and they have billions of millions of dollars comply. And then someone like Nono has a small local player thingy, we get pushed out or we decide to stay informal. And in many African markets, early stage fintechs have repeatedly faced licensing, capital, and reporting requirements designed for established banks. Dude, I just started yesterday. I don't have $1 million in my bank account and my dad ain't rich. So let's be real, okay? And the fact is that the result is not safer innovation, it's lower innovation. It's regulatory arbitrage and relocation for more flexible jurisdictions. So that's when you get that mass migration of people moving from your country to another one that has better roses there. And the pattern, we have to recognize it. People are not resisting digital system. They're thinking, hey, I need to earn a living. So I'm going to go informal. I need to move money across borders and not have 50% of it go to fees. I need to provide some identity. And this is tough with identity, especially in the digital economy space, because a lot of countries say, hey, we can't do this unless we all have like one digital thing. I know someone gave me an example. that the name on their birth certificate is different from the name on their driver's license, and it's different from the name of like their health, medical, whatnot. And I'm just like, how is that possible? But it is possible, and it happens. So if millions of people lack formal identification across digital services, then paperwork simply becomes an inhibitor of getting access. It slows down the whole process. And in some spaces, I believe it's intentional. Because if you digitize some processes, that provides visibility. And if you now provide visibility, how am I going to do my corrupt thing where I say, hey, just give me another, something small, and I'll make sure that your paperwork goes through quick, right? So some of it is organic, but we have to be realistic that some of it is actually designed. And this is why policy matters, because policy decides whether digital transformation becomes a ladder, something people can climb into opportunity, or a wall, something they are forced to work around. So let's look at the number of African data centers. This is something that's important because Africa accounts for less than 1% of the global data center capacity, yet we hold 20% of the global population. This is a significant disparity that creates several challenges. If this data is primarily processed and stored outside the continent, it means economic leakage. The value generated by data isn't retained within Africa's economies. Latency issues, accessing data from a distant service slows down digital services and innovation. What I mean is if you click on a button on your phone in an app and it reacts as soon as you click, that's great. If you click on it and it goes and then reacts, that pause, that's a latency. And then we have data sovereignty. This highlights urgent need, like what the guys are doing at Cassava Innovation Technologies, right, to impact and invest locally. Now, if this is the first time you're hearing data sovereignty, let me explain why this matters. And if that's the only thing that you get from my presentation, that's okay. Because data sovereignty is it's not simply just about, power. It's actually what happens when something goes wrong. When data is stored outside a country or a region, decisions about access, security, pricing, and even legal responsibility are often made somewhere else. Under laws, your regulators did not even write. And in courts, your citizens cannot easily reach. And in languages, sometimes you cannot even read. This matters because data is no longer just information. It's money, it's identity, it's health records, it's your credit history, it's national infrastructure. When a payment system fails, when personal data is breached, when a public digital service goes down, the question is not only what happened, but who is accountable and which rules apply. If the data lives elsewhere, accountability becomes slower, more complex, and weaker. This is why data sovereignty is not about closing borders or rejecting global technology. It's about ensuring that as Africa becomes more digital, it does not also become more dependent, exposed, or invisible in decisions that affect her people. And this is where policy matters most. Because without regional coordination, without shared standards, interoperable rules, and aligned governance, we don't build digital markets. We build digital islands ripe for digital colonization. So 3 principles that I want to leave you with today. 1, policy must move at the speed of behavior. If people are already doing a digital policy, then it's late. Okay, your policy is behind. 2, if trust is infrastructure, without trust, adoption does not happen. So no matter how advanced your technology is, you need to understand that trust is your infrastructure. And inclusion needs to be designed, not hoped for. If women, youth, and small businesses are excluded, you must see this as a system failure. These principles apply whether you are drafting regulation, building these cool, fancy platforms that we're all going to use, or teaching skills, or investing in infrastructure. So, as you engage in conversations that follow throughout this conference, tomorrow, and so on, I invite you to keep one question with you. Not, is this innovative, or not, is this digital, but what policies are quietly shaping whether this succeeds or fails? Because the future of digital transformation in Africa is not decided by technology alone. It will be decided by how well our policies reflect our people and how courageously we design systems, incentives, and trust. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that insight, Madam Nono. So I believe we're going to receive a couple of questions before we move to the panel discussion. Please, if you have a question related to what Madam Nono has, kindly indicate. You can just raise your hand, you unmute your mic, you ask your question, or you can use the chat. So I see some hands up. I don't know if you have a question. Camden, do you have a question? I'm going to allow you to unmute your mic. If you have a question, please feel free to ask. Right. Straight to panel discussion. No, please don't go just yet. I'll have a couple of questions which I will ask you as well during the panel discussion. So to bring up the speakers for the panel discussion. So we have, just going to search if I can get here. So we have, I don't know if Mr. Tosin, is Mr. Tosin here? We have, right. I see so many people in where lobby is exactly. Into So please, if you can get me, just indicate. I don't know, doctor, can you get me? I can't see you in the spotlight. I think I added you to the spotlight.
Yes, I could get you.
What about Dr. Wenbange? Can you get me, please? Just indicate by unmuting your mic. Sure. All right, so I want to welcome the various speakers who will be part of the panel of discussion. So I'm just going to quickly introduce the speakers, and we are going to move right away. So the first speaker I'm going to introduce is Dr. Leez. Leez is a Botswana-born, Kenyan-based medical doctor, health advocate, a health tech enthusiast, and one of the emerging voices reimagining the future of healthcare in Africa. Just 1 minute. Let me share slides. So with nearly a decade of experience in medicine, Dr. Leez has witnessed the realities of healthcare systems where access is often determined by financial status. Her work is driven by one powerful belief: health is not a privilege, it's a right. Her journey through burnout and the emotional weight of clinical practice revealed a deeper truth. Behind the white coat are professionals struggling silently. This realization pushed her to create a safe community for medics, a space for open conversations about mental health, burnout, and the human experience within healthcare. What began as small discussion has expanded into a growing movement across Kenya and Zambia, uniting doctors who want to support each other and advocate for change. Beyond her medical expertise, Dr. Leez is a creative mind, moderating events, designing and building meaningful experiences. Recently, she began learning to code and design websites, embracing technology as a tool to empower the next era of African healthcare. Her decision to step away from a stable medical career to focus on mental health and health reflects her courage and clarity of purpose. Her vision is bold: an Africa where money does not determine who receives care, where medics work in supportive environments, and where technology drives equitable, efficient, and compassionate healthcare system. So once again, Doctor, you are highly welcome. So we move to the next panelist by name, Mr. Nzi Kumalo, who is a visionary entrepreneur and industry leader whose work sits at the intersection of technology, policy, and large-scale digital transformation across Africa. With former tertiary education in the humanities, Nzi brings a people-centered and system-driven perspective to innovation, leadership, and digital policy discourse. He is a founder of the Open Letter app, a digital platform designed to strengthen community civic engagement and structured dialogue in an increasingly digital society. Through this initiative, he demonstrates how technology can be leveraged to amplify voices, encourage transparency, and support inclusive participation in governance and public discourse. So you're highly welcome, Mr. Nzi. Then, of course, we have Madame Ebere Josephine Oba, who is a globally recognized leader in digital transformation and artificial intelligence, regulations, and innovation. Her work has redefined how organizations adopt technology, strengthen cybersecurity, and build sustainable digital systems across industries and continents. Ebere is widely celebrated for her groundbreaking contributions to AI governance, AI-driven cybersecurity, cybercrime prevention, and regulatory policy, earning her numerous international awards. She is a winner of the Globe Award for Sustainable Digital Achievement in 2024 and has been recognized as Outstanding Leader of the Year 2024, Leading Digital Transformation Expert 2024, and Digital Transformation Leader of the Year 2023. As a 2024 Forbes Black member, Josephine has consistently shaped global conversations around artificial intelligence ethics, compliance, digital innovation, and emerging technologies. She has received multiple Montauk Thought Leadership Awards, that's from 2021 to 2024, for exceptional contributions to technology, data protection, and regulatory framework. Her work has been featured in Yahoo Finance, Business Wire, and Street Insider, further establishing her global influence. So, Madam Ebere, you are highly welcome. Then, of course, we have Dr. Wenda, sorry for the pronunciation, Dr. Wayne Mageng Asfal, who is an assistant professor, researcher, and digital leadership practitioner whose work sits at the critical intersection of technology, ethics, and inclusive community development in Africa. His sponsorship and practice focus on how digital systems can be designed and governed to strengthen trust, social cohesion, and responsible leadership across rapidly evolving society. He's equally going to be the host for the next African Digital Conference, which will take place in Ethiopia about 4 months from now. So as the founder and president of CSMN, Dr. Asfal leads initiatives centered on values-driven digital ecosystem, online community governance, and the responsible use of technology for education, civic engagement, and social impact. His work emphasizes the importance of ethical framework, accountability, and people-centered innovation in Africa's digital transformation journey. So once again, Doctor, you are highly welcome, and welcome to all the speakers who will be part of the spotlight. So I'm just going to, the first thing I'm going to do is give you guys about 2 minutes each to talk about your business, what you do, and how you've used your business or your organization to help others. So you just have 2 minutes only to do that for my introduction, and we are going to move to the next topic. So I'll begin with Dr. Leez. Doctor, can you get me, please?
Thank you. Oh, yes, please. I can hear you. Thank you very much. So Happy New Year, everyone. So my name is Dr. Leez Renske. I am a co-founder of Mindful Medicine and Sign Health Systems. These are two projects that were started from a problem once lived, and now I'm creating solutions to them, which is number one, the impact work-related stress has on your financial status as a business and in the medical community, and two, the health inefficiencies and health access gaps. So that is what we do. We basically bridge that gap, and we help business owners see that wellness is their greater return of investment. Yes.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You're highly welcome. Thank you. So we move on to Mr. Nzi Omalo.
Good day, folks. Thank you so much for all joining. I represent the Open Letter app. The Open Letter app is a platform where one can write an open letter to an already global audience. Of course, we write open letters either to raise an issue, to highlight a matter, to point to a particular matter, to speak to power, but also in a business sense, to launch a product, to address a business flow matter, and various other communication centered matters. My biggest gripe is, and my biggest sore point is our digital engagement. Yes, so I'll just leave it there. We address communication, but along the way we've come across matters that can be fine tuned better, and we have taken them on to really free and enable communication across the continent, but across the world, but especially with regard to the engagement of the African in particular, the Black in general digital user. Thank you so
All
much.
right. Thank you very much. So we move on to the next speaker, Madame Ebere Josephine.
Morning, everyone from here. Please confirm if you can hear me before I continue.
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you very
Yes.
much. So my name is Ebere Josephine Oba, as introduced. I'm a digital transformation professional with years of experience. I'm currently the Director of Digital Transformation and Innovation at Camedis in Nigeria. And I'm presently in Australia doing my postgraduate research program in artificial intelligence. Last year, I initiated two businesses. One is a social enterprise, Women AI Innovators, and it's incorporated in Nigeria to lead AI innovation for women-led startups in Nigeria and across Africa, while simultaneously starting a business on named Ziview AI here in Australia on AI governance. So the joining this particular session is quite interesting because my work sits at this critical intersection. How do we ensure artificial intelligence systems serve African realities rather than importing foreign biases? So how do policy frameworks enable and orchestrate digital transformation? And currently, I am with my postgraduate research program in artificial intelligence. I am working on developing a domain-specific AI model for Nigerian legal system that focuses on AI work with verified local court cases and judgment rather than hallucinating fake cases. And my stance is actually very clear that African digital transformation must move from being data subjects to data architects. So we cannot simply be importing Western models. And that is why I'm very excited about this panel.
All right, thank you very much. So I will ask my first question to you, Madam Ebere. You've had a lot of experience when it comes to artificial intelligence, when it comes to digital transformation. So from your previous works in digital transformation and AI, what capability must African professionals develop to remain future ready?
Okay, so can you ask the question again, please?
Yeah, I said from your experience as far as artificial intelligence is concerned and digital transformation, what capabilities must African professionals develop? So what are the skills or what they need to actually develop to remain future ready? You know, the African community is still growing when it comes to AI, when it comes to digital transformation. As a matter of fact,
Yes.
we are still on the grassroots level when it comes to digital transformation. So what must African
Yes.
professionals develop to remain future ready, to be ready for the future?
Okay, so I have in my recent artificial intelligence ethics a report, I proposed a model which I call the traceable accountability framework. So that is actually to build what is considered to be digital trust, and also being able to be aware of the cybersecurity and the AI associated threats that come with artificial intelligence. So, and this thing deals with the first thing is the technical capacity. Being the African professionals needs to be very aware of the tools, the systems, the models, and the data that are being used to build this system, build these AI systems and models. So they do not. It's no longer a time for you to be able to use artificial intelligence tools or to be able to deploy any AI system or tool that you come across, but rather ask questions. How is this? How are they trained? What data are they trained with, who trained them, who verified the data. So that question of who verified the data is a very important question that is currently being missed in the African profession. So they can ask who, how is it trained, but nobody is asking who verified the data, who trained the data, right? And it requires, it goes beyond the policy or technical experts to people who I consider the ethicists. So now, for you to be able to be able to use artificial intelligence to sustainably, African professionals need to be ethicists. So ethics becomes an innate attitude that we have to embed within ourselves. So we have to be intentional about being ethical in anything we are doing. So, and then from the technical aspect, we talk about the governance aspect. How is this AI tools governance? Is that a governance framework? How do we manage the legal accountability? Because relying on unverified AI must be considered as professional negligence. So you cannot blame the algorithm. Organizations must be reliable, professions must be reliable, individuals must be reliable. So you need to build yourself to be accountable, even as a professional who utilize AI. You should be able to answer that. You don't have to blame AI when there is a bias or hallucination. You need to take responsibility. So that means you need to be very intentional and careful. Why build so? And then organizations need to actually have a committee, a governance committee, including the ethicists and not just the engineers. And because trust in AI tools comes from proper verification, not just the innovation. So I think that people are getting more excited about the innovation. People are getting more excited about the technical aspects and the systems and the skills and knowledge. Nobody's, but the actual thing that the technical aspect is already getting matured, right? The tools, the systems, they are already getting matured. A lot of people are teaching you AI development, but the particular aspect that needs to be addressed by the professionals individually, by organization, is the aspect of technical transparency. Who is training this algorithm? Individuals need to take responsibility, which is legal accountability, and organizations need to embed framework and governance. And these three is what I call the traceable accountability framework. And when we get these three right, both individuals, organizations, and the governance have to sustainably manage artificial intelligence systems.
Right. Thank you very much for that elaboration. So my next question goes to Dr. Leez. So, Doctor, you have been in the health sector for quite some time now. As a matter of fact, you're the CEO of Mindful Medicine and the Sane Health System. So, from a health system perspective, how can digital transformation improve access, efficiency, and outcomes in Africa's healthcare sector?
Thank you very much for the question. Oh, it can improve it drastically. Digitization has helped from diagnosis to management of conditions to creating awareness. The only issue that we do have in the medical and wellness sector is verifying that information. So what we usually do is we often tend to use AI to help make patients understand their conditions better than to just diagnose, unless there's involvement of instrumental diagnosis, which will still be double checked by a doctor to make sure that the patient is receiving adequate care. But apart from that, digitization has also allowed us to see multiple patients at the same time, which is definitely improving outcomes in low to middle income settings nowadays compared to before. So I hope that answers your question.
All right. Yeah, thank you very much for that. So my next question goes to Madam Nono Bokete. So, Madam Nono, you've actually been in the AI space for quite some time now, and of course, you've actually switched between the African environment and the Western world, and you've actually seen the difference between these two environment. So my question is, how can African institutions prepare for AI adoption while ensuring policy protect people, protect their jobs, and organizational culture. Because a lot of people are afraid that with the coming of AI, they are going to, probably lose their jobs. And I know of some companies which they are limiting themselves to implement artificial intelligence in their businesses because they know a lot of people are going to lose their job at that level. So how can these institutions prepare for AI adoption?
Hi, thank you for that question. So African institutions can prepare for AI adoption by doing three things in parallel, but not sequentially. First, policy has to focus on augmentation before replacement. So what I mean is AI should be framed, regulated, and deployed as a tool that supports human work and improved productivity. I'm thinking things like decision making. I'm thinking along the lines of service delivery and not as a shortcut to removing people. And when policy is explicit about this, fear will drop significantly. The other thing is, secondly, is that institutions need to invest in skills inside the organization, not just at a national level, which is great and should always continue, but people are less afraid of AI when they understand how it fits into their role, how it changes workflows in their organization, which it can do, and where human judgment remains essential, right? Thinking about AI as a tool that you're leveraging and not as a replacement. And that's also going to impact the culture because culture does change faster when people feel equipped and not threatened. And lastly, the policy must protect dignity and accountability. That means that you need clear rules around transparency, data use, bias, which is a big thing, responsibility when AI systems fail, which they can and will do and probably will continue to do, and people then will not become afraid of the technology. They're probably afraid of losing agency, fairness, and control. And the fears we're seeing are not irrational. I don't want you to think, oh, people shouldn't be scared. Be scared. It's but look at it more as a signal. And there's a way that African institutions can respond through policy, leadership, and culture. And we need to probably get away from the dogma or the phrasing of AI is going to replace people at work. People are replacing people with AI tools at work. AI is just a tool. It's not a person. There's no AI colony in the off the coast of Madagascar or something. It's still a tool. So I think that there has to be some sort of responsibility that we take in that. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that insight. So from what I've gathered from what Madam Nono has said, it simply means that if you are already in the industry or in a particular institution, make sure you incorporate AI in whatever you do if you don't actually want to lose your job, because people who are experts in AI are actually going to be the ones to replace you and not AI itself. All right, so we move to Dr. Wenmagen Asfal. So, Doctor, you're highly welcome. As the founder and president of CSM, you've actually, worked with different institutions, different organizations by, implementing, digital transformation, artificial intelligence. So as digital platforms expand rapidly in Africa, how can policy makers balance innovation with ethical responsibility and social cohesion? Doctor, did you get me, please?
Yeah.
Okay.
You hear me now?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. Thank you for giving this opportunity. Actually, our organization has working at ethics and leadership. So our sister has talking about the AIL. So any organization has spoken on the AIL, it has a negative thought for the artificial intelligence. Maybe I will show you a positive thinking about AI or artificial intelligence as important for the human being, for the digital system. That means we need the ethics, we need the leadership value of the any organization of the thought. Maybe your question in our organization has our policy has needed for the ensure leadership and ethics has for the artificial intelligence. I got it. Your questions.
Yeah, all right. Thank you very much for answering the question. So we will take some few questions in the chat. So
Okay.
if you have a question, please kindly ask your question and we will redirect that question to the speaker that you want to ask the question to. So I'm just going to go through the chat and see if there are any questions. Or if you have a contribution, you can share with us as well. Please, if you have a question, feel free to ask. You can use the chat to ask your question, please. All right, if there are no questions, then I want to thank the speakers who have joined us for this panel discussion. All right, now there's a question here. Please, who are you directing your question to, or you're, asking it to all the speakers? So how do you African leaders plan to help us youth with innovation? I think for this question, we're really going to talk about, we're going to expand on, youth and innovation in a subsequent module or subsequent topic, which will be coming up either in day 2 or day 3. I think you're going to really get an answer in respect to that, but I don't know. Can any speaker help us to elaborate on that? So the question goes thus: how do you African leaders plan to help us youths with innovation? Yes, Dr. Leez.
Thank you very much for the question. And the truth is, that's the question we should all be asking. And I like that you are directly putting that on the table, because this is what I think. I think that everything that it is that anyone is doing in their lives today, as long as they're youth and they are using AI, they are already trying to put in good incentives, right? So, um, the next wave of African innovation won't come from leaders just like me talking at conferences. It comes from leaders or young Africans that are building solutions to problems that they have lived, to solutions that they feel, to problems that they feel they should be addressing while scaling globally. So, what you need to think about is, number one, in terms of healthcare and wellness. If you're young and you're an innovator in mental health or working in the workplace space, we are building a network of youth innovators across the continent, especially in the medical field. So, what started as wellness in just Nairobi, Kenya, has moved to Kenya as a whole and now to Zambia and is moving to Zimbabwe. Because what we're doing is we're not trying to just pass a message across, but we're trying to have a mentorship capacity, which should then create some potential funding for partnerships and create opportunities across in terms of health and wellness. But in terms of policy development, I think we like, I'll speak for myself. I'm in health economics and policy development. I realized that the change that I wanted to see in the workplace wouldn't work by just having a startup. I realized that the policies that I needed to change would mean I have to be in the system. So this means understanding what it is I don't like about the system and seeing if it's a problem that many of my colleagues in the health sector and many other patients in the health sector are also experiencing it. After I identified this workplace problem, I realized, work stress costs the US about 322 billion. Okay. in terms of loss in productivity. And then I realized, oh, okay, so productivity is not a problem that we're experiencing only in the health sector, it's in the dentistry sector, it's in the construction sector. And then through that, we got different leaders in all these sectors to give us their pain points and see if we're truly identifying a common problem and bringing up a solution to that. And through that, that's what my thesis was based on, just so that it could be a proof of concept that many other Africans could work with and improve from here henceforth. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't know if Madam Nono has something to add.
No, I think it
Oh.
was answered perfectly.
All right, thank you. All right, so let's move to the next question. I think this question is redirected to Dr. Leez. So in the medical aspect, so Martin is asking this question. In the medical aspect, how can AI give an advice for patients when they can't feel or taste? So what if there is a technical problem? Doctor, are you there? I think that question is directed to you.
Yeah. Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Martin, for the question. So I think it's important to recognize that medicine is medicine because of the human interaction. It's not just about the diagnosis we give, it's not about the treatment you receive, because every diagnosis that's made is subjective based on what the doctor feels or how they were trained. So instead of using AI as the golden standard diagnostic tool, it just aids us in clarifying what it is that we have suspected to reduce the human errors and ensure that people are getting adequate care for the correct conditions so that we do not increase mortality rates. That's what it does. It's not that it's going to be used solely to determine what condition someone has, because most of the times there are people who have conditions without symptoms, so it's still just going to be used as a tool. It won't really act as a standalone, and could not act as a standalone unless it's radiology through CT scans, MRIs. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. And the questions keep coming in. Please, we will not be able to attend to all. Directed to Madam Ebere. Everyday user of AI in Africa contribute effectively as ethicists. I don't know what that means. Madam Ebere, I don't know if you relate with that question. It was asked that the question was directed to you, please.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. So but how can the everyday user be an ethicist?
Yes.
Okay, I think you do not. One thing I need to mention is that you do not need to be a PhD or anything technical to be an AI ethicist. All you need to be is to become a critical participant. And here is what I mean by being a critical participant and a user of AI, especially in everyday African user life. So the first thing is to become a verifier and not just a user. So when I mean by being an AI ethicist, I mean when you use ChatGPT or Gemini, it gives you a citation or any fact or any information. Do not assume that it is correct or it is magic. Assume that it might be a stochastic parrot. So my current research on legal fiction, there's a researcher called Emily Bender. Emily Bender called almost 80% of AI tools stochastic parrot. Why? Because they try to quote information with confidence, but there are high level of hallucinations. So being an AI ethicist means that you are not just using them, you are actually verifying the information that these AI tools actually output. The second is the power of becoming a refuser and not an acceptor of the information, and also seek feedback. So if you type a prompt into an image generator or a text generator, and then there is possibly an African stereotype, because these AI generating tools, they are known for stereotyping African users, especially images with Africans. There was a situation whereby they stereotyped an African lady for HIV. So when you see such information or information that are not really okay with you, don't just carry and use. Do not accept it. So report it or even flag it. Most of these systems have feedback loops. So you don't have to be silent. You need to be able to flag these systems, and especially when you are 100% sure of these AI tools. So my professor here at Western Sydney always tell us, and he keeps reminding us, that humans are still bigger than ChatGPT and AI tools. So we should have it at the back of our mind that we know better than these tools. So when we read this information, we should be able to flag it or scrutinize it and make sure that they are correct. And most especially, support data sovereignty with your own attention. Shift your usage to tools that respect us. So we don't have to use tools that do not actually understand the realities of Africans. We need to actually make sure that these particular tools we are using, they are not just based on Western data. They also recognize the culture and the data sovereignty that is actually specific to Africa. And this is what I mean by being an AI ethicist.
For the other questions, please, we can entertain them maybe towards the end, because we need to move on to the next panel discussion. So I'm just going. So I want to thank Madam Mr. Z, Malo, and Doctor for joining this panelists. All right, so let's move to the next. Going to bring the next speakers. We have so I don't know if Mr. Timothy, if you're here, just indicate. Mr. Philemon. All right, Mr. Philemon is here. I can see Mr. Philemon. All right, please, Mr. Philemon, if you can get me, just indicate. Mr. Timothy, please, if you are here, kindly indicate in the chat. I can't find you. Mr. Philemon, just indicate by raising your hand, and I'm going to identify you from the chat. Since I can't find you in the chat. Right. Mr. Derek and Madam Bime Lira, I don't know. Madam Lira, if you are as well.
Yes, sir, we are present.
All right, so I'm going to you guys on. It's we have All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we're moving to the next panelist discussion panel, and I'm going to quickly introduce the various speakers so we get to know them before we move on to the Q&A session.
Hello, please. Kindly let me in through I'm using my laptop to sign in. So let me in. Okay, please.
All right, so I'm just going to introduce the various speakers, those who are here, because not all the speakers are here. So I'm going to begin with Madam Abiola is a Forbes Black member, digital entrepreneur, and personal branding strategist dedicated to helping African business owners and thought leaders build profitable, influential brands in the digital economy. Abiola is the founder of Lev All Solution, a digital solutions agency specializing in personal branding, AI-driven marketing, and business automation. Through her works, she has empowered entrepreneurs and businesses to leverage digital platforms for visibility, revenue, and growth. Her academic background in international marketing from the London School of Business Administration, combined with advanced training at ALX Africa's Data Science Program, Combinator Startup School, equip her with a global perspective on digital strategy and brand position expansion. Abiola is also the founder of Trailblazers Africa and the Lumiere Cycle, two communities committed to nurturing thought leaders, branding, and digital growth for African entrepreneurs. Through this network, she mentors and supports business owners in adopting actionable digital strategies to scale their ventures. So, Madam Abiola, you are highly welcome. Next speaker is Madame Bime Lira. We already introduced her when she was sharing us her keynotes. So we move on to the next. We have So the next we have Mr. Philemon, who is a senior assistant registrar at Sunyayi Technical University with more than 15 years of professional experience spanning university administration, finance, policy support, and teaching. He holds a Bachelor of Arts and Master of Science in Economics and is a chartered energy economist. He is currently pursuing a PhD with research focused on the sectorial and temporal impact of economic activities on environmental quality in Ghana, examined through socioeconomic and policy analysis lenses. His academic interests cut across environmental economics, international economic, sustainable development, and public sector reforms, and he has contributed to scholarly and policy-oriented works in these areas. So Mr. Philemon, you are highly welcome. Then, of course, we have Mr. Nonkin Derek Jia, who is a Google CPD certified digital marketing expert with over 7+ years experience. He's a digital marketing manager of Tadita Group Corporation. And of course, he has trained digital marketing professionals under the Tadita Group Institute. And of course, he will have a lot to share with us as far as this panel discussion is concerned. So you're highly welcome as well. So before we proceed, we're just going to give you 2 minutes to, tell us what you do, tell us about your business, try to, talk to the audience so they can understand you or know more about you better. So I'll begin with Madame Abiola. Please,
Okay,
can
hi,
you
good evening, everyone.
Good evening?
Yeah, can you hear me now, Mr. Talman?
Yes, I can get you clearly.
Okay, yeah, good evening, everyone. My name is Abiola, and I'm currently from Nigeria, and I'm the founder of Livo Solution, which is actually like a digital marketing agency here in Nigeria. And one of the things we do at Livo is actually we help brands with their visibility, and also we help with their consistency online, and which have actually helped them with their sales and their growth. So that's all about me. Good evening, and I hope we all learn from this panel discussion.
Right, thank you very much. So we move on to Mr. Philemon. Mr. Philemon, can you unmute your mic, please?
Okay. Thank you very much for giving me the platform. Uh, Currently, I'm having a problem joining through my laptop, so I might not be able to share the slides. So please kindly share the slides to them so that
We will come. We will come to that later. That will be the last talk of the day. So we just want to finish with this panel discussion before we get to the slides. So we just want you to, introduce yourself. Just tell us a little bit about what you do, just for 1 minute. Then we proceed.
Okay. My name is Solomon Jaba. I'm a senior assistant registrar at United University in Ghana, and I'm also the founder of Persevere AI Solutions, which helps to train people in artificial intelligence in all sectors. And so that is for now. That is what
All
I
right.
would say.
Thank you very much. We now move to Mr. Nonki Derrick. Mr. Nonki Derrick, are you there? Your mic is muted, please.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening.
My name is Nonki Derrick, and I'm a digital marketing professional. What I do, I simply help businesses that are invisible and struggling online to become visible, profitable, and of course, trusted through data-driven marketing, content marketing strategies, and through digital marketing strategies as well. It's my pleasure to be here at the African Digital Conference and to partake in the panel discussion with you all this evening. Thank you for having me.
So we move on to Madame Bime, please.
Hello, everyone, once more. I already introduced myself. So like I earlier said, my name is Bimili Ranang. I am a CPD and Google certified digital marketing expert, also a Salesforce admin, and currently the branch coordinator of the Tadita Group Corporation. Tadita Group Corporation is a conglomerate that is made up of different branches. We have the institute and the agency. So shortly, we help people to be able to market their products and services. We teach people about digital marketing and how they can use it to be able to promote their businesses online, their services online. So that's it. And thanks for having me.
Mr. Derry, can you get me?
Yes, I can get you.
So, like I said, my first question goes to you. You have a lot of experience when it comes to content strategy and paid advertisement. So, how strategy versus paid advertisement when it comes to sustainable business growth?
Content versus paid advertisement when it comes to sustainable business growth across industry and across the digital landscape in Africa, to be precise. I talk a lot about this across various media and a lot on platforms like LinkedIn. And I would say that for sure, content strategy and paid advertising are not competitors. They are not competitors, but they rather complement each other. They are complementary. So content builds trust, authority, and long-term brand identity for every business, entrepreneur, small, medium-sized enterprises out there. And of course, content will help to educate the audience and warm them up over time, because content serves as the evergreen assets for your business organizations and never fade away. They will always remain. Those are your brand identities in digital form. Those are the items or the assets that represent your reputation across media as a business or as an individual entirely. And paid advertising, on the other hand, accelerates results by putting the right message in front of the right people faster. So once you've been able to put the content out there, once you've been able to deposit the brand assets in the right channels, what do you not want to go ahead and do as an individual or a business? You simply use paid advertisement to accelerate those results by putting those messages that you've already positioned across those various media in front of the right audience. The best way possible and as fast as possible as you can. So for sustainable growth, content should come first. That is the advice I will give every business. And of course, if you're a business owner attending the African Digital Conference, know that paid advertisement should only come in to amplify what is already working for your business or organization organically. So it shouldn't be a prerequisite starting up or starting out for your business. When businesses rely only on ads or on advertisement without strong content, one thing happens: growth becomes expensive. Growth becomes very, very expensive and fragile as well. Because when you begin to run paid advertisement without evergreen assets or without a strong reputation, your marketing is bound to break within the shortest time possible, because when you get audience, they wouldn't have any access to rely on. They will not have any information to depend on, and they will easily forget your business because they only come in for the interest they had on the advertisement that was placed in front of them, and they are not assets to keep them coming back. So when content and advertisement works together, growth becomes scalable and predictable, and that's what I can say how important it is for when we compare paid advertisement versus content strategy mostly for African businesses, organizations, and brands. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So my next question goes to Madam Abiola. So, Madam Abiola, with your experience being the founder of Lever Solution, what role does branding and positioning play in digital marketing success for growing businesses?
All right, thank you. Okay, first thing first, you talked about personal. You talk about branding, and when it comes to branding, branding is actually into many forms. It determines, like, we have personal branding, we have company branding. So if you are looking at digital marketing space, or both branding has to work in align to each other, which means that as a founder, as I am, I would say, I would want to say that as a founder or probably business owner, your personal branding has a lot to say about your company. If you are a business owner and your personal branding is not really as effective as your company, that means probably people won't trust your company. Or let's put it as like in the form of Elon Musk now. Before people know about Tesla, a lot of people know about Elon Musk or probably let's put as what's called this guy that is spreading now, ChatGPT or probably OpenAI. We have to understand that the business owner are actually very, very, very active themselves, if both online, which means that as they are projecting themselves, they are also projecting our company. They're actually the forefront of their company. Like another person I can put in this picture is actually Alex Omozi. Alex Omozi is a very, very, very example of a personal branding business owner. He's actually very, very, very more effective. You would have met Alex Omozi before understanding that he owns acquisition.com. So when it comes to personal branding in digital marketing space, I will always say that as a business owner, you have to put yourself first, sell yourself as the owner, incorporate your business, and then incorporate yourself while selling your business. Don't just like be like, oh, let's just put the business on the forefront and forget about your personal self, or probably or forget about your branding itself, or probably the branding of everyone in your company. Because I feel as a company itself, everyone in your company has a personal branding, and everyone must be able to align with the company goals of having a personal branding itself. So it comes to the fact that what is personal branding? Personal branding means that I am not just representing myself online as someone that people cannot really align with. I'm representing myself that, oh, please, this is who I am, and I represent a brand. I'm not just putting myself like, oh, just come into my space without anything to attach with. Everything I put out represents who I am, represents who my company is, or probably who the company I'm working for is. Everything I do at that point in time must be able to speak or speak about me or speak about the company itself. So, and when it comes to company branding, we can talk about Apple. Apple is one thing that I can talk about that has an high personal company branding. There's nothing you can talk about Apple and you won't feel like, oh, the owner of Apple have actually done the job. So Apple itself sells let me say there's an instinct that Apple sells to everyone that is using Apple, or probably using an Apple phone, or probably an iPad or stuff. It sells an instinct that, oh, they want a community, they want people to love what they're doing. So as a company owner, also as a business owner, you must be able to understand that I am selling something, and I want people to understand me via trust, via you must be able to understand that um, personal branding brings trust, bring a lot of things while coming in, and you must be able to convert it to what we convert into people trusting you. I feel that has answered the question, Mr. Tarman.
Yes, thank you very much for that. I believe the participants will equally have some questions to share. So before we proceed, I'm just going to briefly introduce the two new speakers who just came in. We have Mr. McDonald Dovey, who is a visionary executive and business transformation strategist with a deep passion for empowering organizations and individuals to unlock new possibilities. McDonald's specializes in driving transformation through marketing and business development, route to market strategies, global business processes, and technology consulting. With extensive experience in project management, trade, investment, and strategic business analysis, he has consistently helped organizations navigate complex challenges and achieve sustainable growth. Known for his ability to switch on light bulbs in business and teams, McDonald leverages innovative strategies to optimize market positioning, enhance customer engagement, and deliver measurable results. His expertise blends practical business insights with cutting-edge digital marketing techniques, ensuring that organizations thrive in an evolving digital landscape. So, Mr. McDonald, you are highly welcome.
Thank you very
Right,
much.
so we move to the next speaker. I'm just going to introduce Mr. Oluwa as well before we proceed. So Mr. Oluwa is a visionary leader, global thought influencer, and entrepreneur committed to shaping the future of Africa through innovation, wealth creation, and transformative leadership. With a deep passion for entrepreneurship, economic empowerment, and human capital development, he has trained and mentored young leaders, business owners, and professionals to unlock their potential and create sustainable impact. As the president and lead trainer of the Entrepreneurs Pump Africa, Oluwatoba is at the forefront of driving entrepreneurship education with over 35 editions of his monthly events, held in north central Nigeria. His work bridges the gap between knowledge and execution, empowering individuals to monetize their value, master strategic positioning, and build business that thrives in uncertain economies. A sought-after speaker and trainer, he has spoken at conferences, leadership forums, and business summits, inspiring audiences with his insight on wealth, identities, personal transformation, and next-level leadership. His mission is to equip the next generation with the tools to dominate industry, scale influence, and create lasting economic changes. So once again, you are highly welcome, Mr. Oluwatoba. Right. So my next question is directed to Mr. McDonald. So Mr. McDonald, as a global business innovation and transformation consultant, how does digital marketing fit in a broader business innovation and transformation strategy?
Thank you very much. It is my pleasure. I think I'll answer briefly because Madam Abiola and also Madam Lila well articulated insights with that regards. But however, I just want to say that I think we also have seen that we are in a wave where digital marketing, everyone now is now becoming a digital and content creator. So you would see that it's a wave of which that wave will also end, where you see whether it's different industries, whether it's tourism, it's mining, it's but mostly on leisure. We have seen the uptake of everyone becoming a digital content creator. But however, we foresee from research that through global solutions and for economic empowerment, we will reach a phase where authentic will be a question to ask, to say, is this content an authentic content? Yes, even if it's being used by AI, but we will reach a point where we now want to create trust and also create authentic. And with that regard, that's where the movement will take in, and that's where we foresee from the research where the economic growth for digital market for economic will enhance. For example, just to allude on, I think Madam Lila have spoken quite a lot to say you really need to separate yourself from your brand and also your company brand, but trust comes from both ways. I think Madam Abiola also added to say, if we talk of Elon Musk, we see that Elon Musk is a brand on his own. Then when it comes to other of his companies, but mostly we derive more of his companies out of his own personal brand. So if you see in the last 2 years, we have just seen even corporates, whether from SME to large corporates, trying to brand themselves, but also trying to push a discipline of self-branding within their employers. I think if you look at mostly LinkedIn, you would also see that even Facebook, you would also see in some of the cover pages, they relate to, or if a person represents a company, they will also try to relate to what that company culture or representation is of. So in a nutshell, all those things, those are the things which you are seeing from now. and in the future fitting in the global solutions for corporates, startup and companies with regards to digital marketing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. McDonald, for that great answer. So my next question is directed to Mr. Philemon. Mr. Philemon, from an administrative and leader, how can organizations use digital marketing to build credibility and trust with their audience? Mr. Philemon, can you get me, please?
Hello. Hello. I hope you can hear me now.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Previously, we used the traditional method of trying to create visibility and then try to market institutions. But now things are changing. Now you see that more other institutions are on social media doing marketing and all the content creation, and this is bringing a lot of people or increasing enrollment. And you could see that it's also widening their reach globally. Yeah, for instance, in my university now we are getting people from all over Africa who are coming, as far as even from Gabon, who are coming to school in our institution. So moving from using the traditional method to content creation and digital marketing through the social media has actually helped to be able to achieve this.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. It seems Mr. Oluwa is not here. So we are going to pick a couple of questions from the chat. So I'm going to pick a couple of questions from the chat. Please, if you have a question for the speakers, kindly share in the chat. Any question for any of the speakers? Any question? All right. So we've actually exhausted what we had for today. We've gone more than the time which we allocated for the session. So please permit me any other topic which we're supposed to handle today. We are going to move it for tomorrow because I know tomorrow we have, ample time to cover whatever we've not covered today. So first and foremost, we want to apologize for those who tried connecting through this first day conference and we're having difficulties. We had some technical glitches whereby we could not really identify where the lobby is. So a lot of people trying to join the session could not due to that aspect. And of course, we've tried our best and we've rectified that situation. So probably tomorrow or the next, we should have a handful of participants who are going to be part of this event. So I want to thank each and every one of the speakers who were able to make it for this event. And of course, for the participants who actually took out time to participate in this event, I believe you've learned a lot from some of the speakers. A new set of speakers will be coming up tomorrow, so make sure you try to join the next event. And of course, we have good surprises for you coming maybe tomorrow or on the last day when we'll be concluding with this event. So thank you all for joining this event. I remain Tamon Dune, and hopefully we are going to have new faces for tomorrow's event, new speakers, new moderators, and it's really going to be an exciting event. Two very important topics as far as the digital landscape is concerned. Thank you all for joining, and bye-bye for now. You're going to get a recording of this event shared to you after this this live stream. Thank you. Tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.